As someone who has played and DM'd Dungeons & Dragons before, what did I think of this movie? The fun thing about D&D is the game is made up by the Dungeon Master, so if they don't want to use the D&D lore, they don't have to. So for the people who haven't played D&D, they won't be lost coming into this movie, unlike when you watch a DC or Marvel movie. I went with people who've never played the game and they weren't lost at all. But for people who've played D&D, there are tons of items and other things that you're totally going to recognize. If you're a fan of fantasy and action movies, then this film is definitely for you. The group led by Chris Pine's character Edgin lost a secret relic that they were trying to steal, and unfortunately they got jailed for doing so. Now that they're out of jail, they try to get the gang back together and try to go after the missing relic that they were trying to get in the first place. This is a fun fantasy action comedy through and through. Honestly, I was a little worried going into this movie because the last D&D movie wasn't very good, but seeing some clips online that were really funny, I knew the movie was at least going to be somewhat funny, and it was. This movie has tons of jokes, and I would say about 90% of them land. The action was also really good in this, and Michelle Rodriguez's character is pretty much the only character in the group who does most of the action. Which is fine because seeing Michelle Rodriguez beat up a bunch of people in a fantasy world is awesome. The sorcerer dude has a few cool magic scenes where he's using his powers. The druid has a few scenes where she does her wild shape and she changes into a few animals, which was pretty cool. The CGI was pretty good throughout the whole movie except for any scene that has to do with smoke. I think that looked pretty bad. The odd thing that I was kind of confused about is the paladin character isn't a part of the main group, even though he's like all over the promotion and marketing of this movie. I thought he would be in the main group, but he really isn't. He's only like in a section of this movie. Also, my least favorite character in this movie is probably the daughter. She makes the most dumb decisions and just a lot of things that she does just doesn't make any sense at all. Also, I don't like how safe this movie is with its character designs. Every lead character just looks like a human cosplaying as some D&D character. Like, the tiefling could have been literally any color, like blue, purple, whatever, but she's just human looking with horns. Or the barbarian could have been like a half orc or something, but no, just a human. And we get a halfling in this, and don't get me wrong, the cameo was hilarious, but he just looks like a shrunken down full-size human. But other than that, most of the other race characters are just like monsters, like a bird guy or like a dragon looking dude. The other thing I thought was a little weird is they do not take pretty much any damage throughout this whole film during any of their fights. I mean, they have no cuts, bumps, or bruises. At the end of the movie, everyone looks pretty fine. Like, there's no cuts on them at all. If this was a D&D game, they would have been rolling fantastically throughout. I mean, like, nat 20s everywhere. Other than that, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Great action, a lot of funny scenes, and just a really enjoyable time. This is why I give Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves an 8 out of 10. If you guys like this review, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more, hit that follow button. And as always, thanks for watching.